Driven by poor conditions at home, some children living on the periphery of cities like Blantyre are forced to move to the inner city. They beg and raise money for basic needs like food and clothes, face hardships like hunger, sexual abuse, and physical violence. While some of these children may have parents at home, they are forced by poverty into dropping out of school to the streets. There are also others who simply have no place to call home and have no choice but to endure the hardships on the streets. Samaritan Trust, a non-governmental organization formed over a decade ago, runs a home for these unfortunate children. The executive director of Samaritan Trust, Margaret Mukwena, gives the background and objectives to the setting up of a home for the street children.
My name is Margaret Mukwena. I'm the executive director for Samaritan Trust. Samaritan Trust is located along Chukwa Road in Green Corner, about 8 to 10 minutes drive from Blantyre City. Our objective as a trust is to look after street children, give them a chance and choice at leading normal life. We realize that there is a growing concern of children on the streets of Blantyre and surrounding areas. So to come up with an intervention, Samaritan Trust decided to set up a center that is dedicated towards the improvement of the lives of street children. As a way of maybe brief history, Samaritan Trust was founded in 1993 by a local Malawian called Jarvis Chakumodzi. This was after realizing the growing concern of children, even back then in the 90s. So he decided to set up this trust, and we have been in existence since then.
It is not an easy task to bring together these children who have grown up on the streets and rehabilitate them. Samaritan Trust must devise good strategies to achieve its objectives. These strategies must distinguish older children who may have dropped earlier from school, who should go into vocational training, and the young ones who can go to elementary school. These young ones go to neighboring schools with the aim of integrating them into society, while the older children get vocational training, as Mukwena explains.
In terms of our intervention strategies, we look at where the street child is and then where we want them to be. So every normal child should enjoy childhood, and there's no way someone can enjoy childhood if they're sleeping under the bridges. There's no way someone can enjoy childhood if they're being subjected to abusive life on the streets. So what we do is we send out social workers on the streets of Blantyre, where they conduct what we call street visits. Sometimes they do this in the afternoon, sometimes they do this at night. We decided to split our street outreach in two, because there are some children that beg in the afternoon, but then find somewhere else, maybe even go back home during the night. So we realized that there's a special group as well that is very vulnerable, and that's the street children that are found at night. So our social workers go on the streets and counsel these children, try to empower them to make a positive decision in their lives. And in our view, this positive decision means them leaving the streets for a better place. The better place can be Samaritan Trust, the better place can be their homes even. But once a child has made a decision, we bring them to Samaritan Trust, or we encourage them to come by themselves to Samaritan Trust. I would want to point out that at any of these stages, we do not force the child to come here, because we believe in choice. If you take away that choice and force a child to become enrolled at a rehabilitation center, the following day they are going back to the streets. So we really believe in giving the child a choice, empowering them with knowledge, empowering them with the knowledge that they too can lead a normal life. So if it works out and the child does decide to come to our center, we first evaluate the child's immediate needs. For instance, we have had children that are coming from the streets, abused, and immediately we have to take that child to maybe a place like One Stop Center, where they can be checked for their health, especially sexual reproductive health, in the case of children that have been sexually abused. So we're taking these children For those ones that are sick, we immediately take them to the hospital, to Queen's or the surrounding clinics. And then when the child has been given attention, we then try to make a case plan for their intervention, realizing that, as with anything in life, there is a starting point and there's a desired point. So when the child is here, depending on their age, we put them in an intervention channel, if I can call it that. We're taking children aged between 8 to 18. Rarely do we take in children under the age of 8. But if a child is referred to us, maybe by the police, for maybe an overnight or a couple of nights stay, we take them in whilst we are referring them to other centers. But normally our age group is between 8 to 18. So once the children are here, we assess them for their academic aptitude to see at which point we can place them, because we believe in education, we believe education is power, and we believe that if you take a street child back to school, that child is going to achieve bigger things in their life. So normally for the younger children that's aged between 8 to maybe 15, we take them back to either primary or secondary school, depending on their academic aptitude, like I said. So now, what may happen is we may have a child that's coming to Samaritan Trust at age 16, age 17. This child may have been on the streets for 5 years and would have missed out on school for most of their adolescent life. So we realized that it's very difficult to take an overage child and expect them to do wonders in school. It just won't happen. So what we did as an organization is we introduced vocational skills training to cater for that child who cannot be accepted in school because of age or because of the fact that they've missed too much of school. So we introduced vocational skills training. In this department, we've got bricklaying, we've got welding and fabrication, we've got bicycle maintenance, we've got tailoring, and we've got carpentry and joinery. For 3 of these trades, which is bricklaying, carpentry and welding, these students actually sit for Malawi grade 3 trade test examinations at the end of the year, after which they are given certificates, and with those certificates they can get employed, they can start their own businesses, and actually contribute to the socio-economic development of our country.
Samaritan Trust believes that a child is better raised in the home. Children who have relatives are therefore allowed to go home, where the organization continues to provide support.
Samaritan Trust, as a policy, believes that every child belongs to a home. We are Africans, we are Malawians, and there's no street that ever gave birth to a child. That child comes from a family setting. So because of that, we believe that these children, our center is actually just a transitory. They should not stay here for the rest of their lives. So whilst the child is here, we try as much as possible to trace their background, to trace where they are coming from. Some are orphaned, but even if they're orphaned, there should be a relation within the family setup, maybe an agogo, maybe a malume or an aunt who can take in that child, and with proper counseling and support, they can look after that child.
A daunting task to raise these children, and Samaritan Trust admits facing a lot of challenges in the course of running its affairs.
Our challenges are a lot. Raising someone else's child is not easy. And as you can imagine, currently we've got about 95 street children at the center, former street children, that are undergoing rehabilitation. So there are obvious challenges to do with providing them with adequate food, providing them with adequate bedding. We also need to pay our water bills, our electricity bills every month, and this is not an easy feat. We've got challenges to do with giving the children clothing and giving them stationery and things that make a child enjoy a normal life. And then apart from these challenges, we also have challenges to do with maintaining our structures. We were fortunate enough that we got this the land that we currently reside on. It was donated to us, and with support from different well-wishers, we were able to build hostels, we were able to build classrooms and vocational skills workshops. But then just a building alone is expensive because it needs maintenance. So we've got a lot of challenges related to maintenance. When it's rainy season, our roofs sometimes need attention. When it's windy, we've had roofs that have actually been blown away by the wind. And those things require day-to-day attention. So those are some of our challenges. Then we also have challenges to do with the nature of our job, because street children are clearly a difficult group to deal with. They've got, because of the abuses that they have, they've developed a tough shell. So some of them, whilst here, they sometimes feel the temptation to run away and go and beg for 20 kwachas and 50 kwachas on the streets. Sometimes they are, because by being on the streets, like I said, they've developed very bad behaviors for some of them. So some of them have developed maybe habits of stealing. So even whilst at the center, we may give things, or some of the children may be tempted to steal. We've had cases of children stealing from each other. But like I said, it's challenged to do with the nature of the job, and we can't run away from that or chase the child away because of that.
Samaritan Trust, like other charitable organizations, depends on support from well-wishers. The organization has received support from the corporate world and individual well-wishers in the form of funds, materials and child sponsorships, which have helped it rehabilitate hundreds of children back into society as trusted and respected citizens.
Currently, we are receiving funding from Tilitonse Fund, which is based in Lilongwe and made up of a consortium of international donors. But that fund is coming to an end in August 2015. So we are actually looking at potential supporters that can help us carry our project forward.
However, Samaritan Trust cannot entirely rely on well-wishers all the time. The organization, therefore, tries to initiate income-generating activities, as Mukwena explains.
We've got our own small income-generating activities, but small as they are, they help us a lot. We lease out, for instance, some of our buildings that we don't have immediate use for. Like we've got a multi-purpose hall. We lease it out to churches, we lease it out to wedding parties. We've got open grounds, which are soccer grounds, we lease them out. But in terms of maybe bigger fundraising activities, we use our vocational skills workshops to actually produce things that we can sell. This year, TNM, the mobile network company, was kind enough, as part of its corporate social responsibility initiative, they gave us a contract to produce 240 desks, which they in turn will donate to schools that need help. Like I know they're going to donate to a school in Zomba, and they're donating to schools in Lilongwe, and also some schools in Blantyre. So in essence, their corporate social responsibility has boosted our capacity, but and then we're also doing the desks that they are going to donate and boost the capacity of another school. Then we've got other income generating activities like golf tournaments. We've got some events that we do, and then we've got child sponsorship, which is one of our major income generating activity, because we believe that for only 5,000 kwacha a month, and for $10 for the people that are outside Malawi, you can actually send a street child to school, and that child one day is going to be a physiotherapist, is going to be a medical doctor, is going to be a school teacher. So for only 5,000 kwacha a month, people can actually send street children back to school.
Street children generally need a lot of psychosocial support, and Samaritan Trust deals with this as a matter of priority.
In terms of psychosocial support, that's a key area where we need a lot of capacity building as well. We've got our social workers, but of those social workers, only a handful are actually trained to be, solid psychosocial counselors. So we sometimes get church groups that come here. We've got 2 church groups that come. One comes on Wednesday, one comes on Thursday, to try to maybe help using religion as a tool of getting to improve the psychosocial behavior of the children. But we also, our ordinary psycho caregivers and social workers sometimes offer psychosocial support to these children.
Samaritan Trust is not an orphanage as such, but a center to rehabilitate children And whenever relatives or parents want their children back, the organization facilitates reintegration of the children. Rose Kabanda, a Standard 5 girl, is one of the children going back to their homes. The girl talks how she came to Samaritan Trust. Raising of the children at Samaritan Trust requires the presence of men and women who have passion and skill for their job. Kondwani Banda, a social welfare officer, has been at Samaritan Trust for over 7 years now, and he shares his experience.
My name is Kondwani Banda. I head the social work department, but I'm the social welfare officer here. Okay, I've been at Samaritan Trust for close to 7 years now. My job involves picking the kids from the streets, those are street children, and taking them here for rehabilitation, and then send them back to the community after behavioral information program. So we run our programs into 3 phases. We go in the street to build relationship with the street kids, and from there we bring them here for behavioral information program. Then afterwards, after we have noticed some changes as far as behavior is concerned, we send them home as a reintegration as a final phase. And it has been a challenge in a different way, but all in all, it's all about helping the children, so it's part of a passion as well. Because there are a number of things which we do as far as discipline is concerned. First, we use behavioral information as a strong tool at Samaritan Trust. So normally we don't believe in punishing them or using any corporal punishment, because we know street children are, difficult children. We know that for every kid to go in the street and beg, there are reasons. So we try to curb the reasons. We try to mediate their cases before we recommend any intervention. So normally it's not necessarily punishment as such, but we make sure that we should reach out to them in a different way. We should offer counseling sessions that at the end of the day they should change their behavior. So normally we use behavioral information, and we use counseling sessions as the way of changing their behavior. So we wouldn't rather say as a punishment as such, but we make sure that they should change their behavior by using counseling skills.
The social workers from Samaritan Trust move day and night into the city to search for kids who may be willing to come to Samaritan Trust for assistance. This is not an easy job because it requires building trust and convincing the young ones that their lives would be safe. Lydia Galilea, another social worker, narrates her experience.
Dzina langa ndine Lydia Galilea Mrs. Ndimagwira ntchito pa Samaritan Trust pano ngati social worker. Ndakhala pa Samaritan Trust pano zaka 9. Social worker ntchito yathu yonena kuti timapita mtown kukatenga ana. Tikakatenga ana mtown mtani mabwetsa pa street pa institution ngati panopa. Ntchito yathu ndi imeneyoyo. Mwana uja akabwera ndipo timampasa zosowa zake. Ndiponso timafuna tione health yake ndiyotani. Ngati alibe zovala timafuna kuti muthandize. Tikapanga zimenezo timacheza nayeso kumfunsa mwana uja kuti ndi wapezeka mtown chifukwa chani. Ndiye mwana uja amatifotokozera zifukwa zimene wapezekera mtown. Ndi ntchito imene timagwira pa Samaritan Trust monga ma social workers. Sindipo ndekha tipwa gulu timagawana, ena kulimbi, ena Blantyre. Timapanganso ma night street work, timakapeza ana aja usiku. Ana amenewa timathana nawo ifoti sitimangopita mtown tsiku limodzi kukatenga ana aja. Timapanga relationship building kuti ana aja atizolowere. Akatizolowa ana aja sipavuta kuti ana aja alole nobwera ku Samaritan Trust kuno. Koma sungangopita mtown kukatenga ana aja ngati wewe uli wachilendo mtown. Timafuna tipange kayo ubale pakati pa ife ma social workers za Samaritan Trust ndi ana aja. mavuto amene timakumana nawo kwa ana athuwa ndionena kuti amakhoti sanakhale pasi pa uphungu wa makolo awo, ndiye akabwera kunoko pamakhala povuta kuti tiyambe kukhala nawo pasi kuti adziwe chikhalidwe amene timakhalira. Ndiye mavuto amene timakumana nawo ndi ana ambiri amene samvera, achifuna kuti amanena kuti anazola khapa ukhasa anazola kuti wina azauza iwo anazola mtawuni kumapanga chilichonse chimene akufuna tsiku ndi tsiku, safuna kumva chochokera kwa wina aliyense. Ndiye vuto amene timakumana nawo kwa ana ambiri mtawuni. Ni paliso akadaulo amene amakhala ndi ma-counseling sessions pa ana aja. Ife tikacheza nawo timapititsa kwa anzathu kuti mwana uyuyu pamene tampanga asesi vuto limene ali nalo, behavior reformation imachokera kwa makhansala anthu amenewo. Ngati mwana uja ali wakuba amadziwa amene angamulankhule mwana uja. Ngati mwana uja ali wosamvera, makhansala ajaso imakhala ntchito yoti amupange counsel mwana uja.
The task of providing vocational skills is placed in people like Zotsatira Banda, a carpentry and joinery instructor who confesses that imparting skills to the youth with low literacy levels is not a simple work. Banda, however, regards his work as rewarding, especially when some of the trainees do well in national examinations and go on to get employment or run their own businesses.
My name is Zotsatira Banda. I'm the carpenter and joinery instructor here at Samaritan Trust. I joined Samaritan Trust way back in October 2009. Yeah, from before here, I was working in Cholo, so I was at Mitengo Technical College. So when the vacancy arose here, so I had to apply. So that's how I joined the Samaritan Trust. Currently, we have 2 classes. Yeah, normally it's only 1 class which sit for examination at the end of the year, but normally we have 2 classes. It's so hard because looking at the especially education background, others they did not even went as far as the secondary schools or primary school. So for them to take the stuff here, it's a bit difficult. But we try as much as possible so that we can shape them, to be real carpenters. Yeah, but it's not easy. Since I joined the Samaritan Trust, I have taught a number of students. Some of them are working with construction companies right here in Blantyre or other districts. So when I look at them, to me it's an achievement, not only to me but the whole Samaritan Trust. And they not only working in the construction industry, others they have set up their own workshops, so they are now productive season. They are also contributing to the development of this country. Yeah, so it's a big achievement. The major challenge is finances. Especially we don't have enough tools right now in our workshop. So for us instructors to equip them with the required skills, because we need adequate tools. So we try as much as possible with the tools we have, but that's the major challenges we are meeting right now.
Anga ndine limbani professor ndimachokera ku Mulanje fumwe kulu Juma ndinabwera 2013. Ndaphunzira kupanga zinthu zambiri, kupanga ngati mpando, kupanga bedi, kupanga display, kukhoma nyumba, ndaphunzira zinthu zambiri. Ambuye monsemu basi zomwe ndimapanga ndi magulisa majumbo mtawuni. Nditakumana ndi Samaritan Trust unali ngati mwayi kuti ndisathe kuphunzira ntchito imene ndingagwire kuti sogolo langa likhale labwino. Amene akumvera akhozanso kukhala kholo langa ndi amene akuonera ndizoti chomwe ndingawuze ndicho kuti asataye mtima chine chilichonse chikuchitika. Moyo so unasintha panopa zinthu zikuyenda bwino ndithu. Ndikazachoka pano ndimafunisisa ndi takakhala ndi workshop yanga ndikumapanga ntchito yomwe ndaphunzira.
Tailoring is another vocational course that is offered at Samaritan Trust. The instructor, John Kefa, explains what goes on in the tailoring workshop.
Ndi John Kefa, amene maphunzitsa ana za tailoring. Choyambirira timaphunzitsa kupalasa machine. Akadziwa kupalasa machine timatengano nsalu fabric kwauza mmene tingadulira kuti kodi chinthu tingachidula bwanji nanga tingasoke bwanji kuti chinthu chikhale chooneka kuti munthu akasangalatsidwe nacho. Ndiye timaphunzitsa kuyeza kama measurement ya chinthu kuti chituluke bwino. Ndiye timaphunzitsa masaizi onse kuyambira small mpaka large. Ndiye tikatero ndikaphunzitsa kudula ndimatenga zovala zikapasa pamasukulu inalisikaikaika koma choyambirira ndimayamba kutenga ine mwake ndimatenga anali okhala pa tebulo tidule nditenge chinthu chija ndikhale pa mashini ndiyambe kusoka ndizauza kuti mukuona mmene timapangira mmene timadulira ziti zonse zimene timadula zija timaphatikiza chonchi kenako kupanga chovala. Then 2 for 3 days nawonso amakhala kuti akutenga kuluso pang'ono ndi pang'ono kenako nawonso amadzama kutani kuyamba kusoka chinthu chikuoneka ndi maso. Anyamata amenewa panopa ifeyo timaphunzitsa for 9 months. Ndekuti pa 9 months yo amakhala kuti ndithu china chilichonse adziwa kusoka ndithu zinthu zadongosolo. Usatiso kusoka kuti customer akabwera nkubwerera kuti asitinasokeke bwino koma kusoka ndithu kwadongosolo. Kozi imapezeka kuti mwina kuzicheka mwina sizasiyagwira molakwika olo mwina posoka pamenenso mwina singano imatha kumabaya pena pake. Nde tikamati ntchito kuyamba kudziwa ntchito pamakhala mavuto osiyanasiyana, pamakhala kukumana ndi kubayidwa nsingano, pamakhala kukumana mwina kutekeka nsizasi, kudulidwa nsizasi. Koma chifukwa kuti nangasi ndi pakati pophunzira ntchito kumatha kupezeka mavuto osiyanasiyana. Ineyo ndimene ndikuonera tsogolo lawo panopa ndikuona kuti tsogolo lawo ndi labwino kwambiri. Anyamatawo alipo 6 ndinawo anyamata 6 amene ndikuwaphunzitsa panopa.
Samaritan Trust benefits from the presence of volunteers either from overseas or from within Malawi. One such volunteer is Nora Banda, a building technician who spent several months at Samaritan Trust as a bricklaying instructor. Nora Banda, who originally did a course in tourism, says she enjoys her new profession and finds it inspiring to work with the trainees at Samaritan Trust.
I'm Nora Banda. I'm a volunteer at this institution. I went to school for upgrading. I'm at school, so it is like I'm on internship. By profession, I'm a bricklayer, but I went to school to upgrade as a technician. Right now, I'm a technician. I did construction. But since I started this field, like bricklaying or skilled labor things, it is marketable. I teach bricklaying, but because like in bricklaying we have 6 subjects. Because of our students, we took them from the street, then we only teach like technology. The other subjects we don't teach. They do a little bit plans, building as you have already said, and even the calculations. Since we wanted to teach them as they go out there, they should understand the plan and even be able to build it on their own.
According to the Executive Director for the Samaritan Trust, Margaret Mukwena, the future for Samaritan Trust looks bright and the prospects for the future are promising.
Although we are operating in Blantyre, we were currently running through the Teletonsi Fund. We are currently running a project in Lilongwe. So just by virtue of us having a project in Blantyre and a project in Lilongwe, it means our reach is both central region and southern region. But then once the project is finished, the one in Lilongwe, it means we may just need to focus back to Blantyre and southern region. But you wouldn't believe it, sometimes we get children from home.